see if we can talk this through together. First off, what's our first S? Subject. Okay. So what's the author's topic? What's it really about? Okay, for customer service. What else did you come up with? Fixing a sandwich, okay. Sandwich, yeah, okay. Sandwich, Hannah saying? Okay, so you're kind of on an island saying it's more about customer service. So if you're thinking about what's the grand idea behind this whole phone call, yes, the sandwich kicked it off, but really it's about the poor customer service. So being treated unfair, poor customer service. I don't know why you call the 911 about that. So, what's our second O, or first O? Second letter, first O. Occasion. All right, what's the exigence? What's the inciting event? What's the whole reason for the call? Yes, here's where the sandwich comes into play. It's the inciting event. So the exigence is the messed up sandwich. So in terms of like what's happening in the world while this is going on in terms of broader context, I don't know if that's really necessary for this, unless you can make some argument about corporations are getting out of control, or if you're making some statement like, oh, it's racist or something in the larger context of things. But I think the extension is the main thing that we need there. I don't think there's much more beyond messed up sandwich order, complaining about poor customer service. So who's audience for this? People that are serious about this stuff. Okay. So if you think of this as like a speech or an essay, it's not a phone call. Who is the author's intended audience? Yeah, basically, police, the dispatcher. If you think like outside the phone call itself, then yeah, you could be talking about people that are serious about sandwiches, people against injustice in general. People who like to take things too far. All right, what's the author's purpose? What's his goal? Why do you make the call? Yeah. Okay. Wants respect from employees. He wants a sandwich fixed. And what else? He said one more thing that he wanted. He wanted to go back to the store. Yeah, he wants to be able to go back. It blows my mind. For that woman on the phone who says the patience of a saint. You hear it, and everyone's just like, what? Why are you calling? And then they keep asking for his name because I guess they have to have it for the record. I'd be like, what's your name attached to this? And the whole fact that he wants to be able to come back just kills me. Like, they keep messing up my sandwich order, but I come here all the time, so I want to come back. So I need you to tell them to make it 4 days in. Like, it's ridiculous. All right, and then finally the speaker. What information can you gather about the speaker? So here you're going to have to do some inferencing. What can you infer about the speaker?
It's like problematic.
I like problematic. All of that I don't know if you can prove.
I'll never want to get old customers.
Yeah, but at the same time, are all your bad customers old? Yeah. Trust me, I've been there. All right, problematic, what else? He's calling the cops.
I guess you could say he's not very smart for calling the cops and do Spanish shit. It's like, what can they do?
He makes poor decisions. Or irrational would be a better way to put that. A rational person does not call 911 because their normal sandwich shop screws up their order. What about the fact that he's calling 911 and they're going to have to send somebody out to talk to him or to go figure this out? Because she says at the end, I'll send somebody out.
Maybe like he wants justice.
Okay, yeah. Wants justice. I think you could call it selfish too. Let's use police resources to come out and tell somebody to remake my sandwich. Sure, there's probably crimes you could be stopping or things like that, but I really need this sandwich order taken care of. How'd you like to get that call? Sure, cop.
I just don't, it shouldn't be.
It might be kind of, I mean, I deal with some ridiculous stuff. It might be kind of like funny, honestly, but also a huge waste of time. I guess it just matters what kind of mood you're in that day. Or like what happened before you got that call.
Yeah, I would go on a
If it's a busy day, then busy.
Yeah, there might be some days where you just like laugh and make fun of them, or there might be that one day where it's just too much and you just go off on them. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to handle that. All right, so that's just some more practice on SOAPs. Okay, so what I want you to do now is look at that rhetorical models / devices thing, worksheet. All right, so all this is just a resource for you. It kind of talks about rhetorical analysis. So rhetorical modes. You guys know the difference between macro and micro? What's macro? Yeah, macro's big, micro's small. So like economics, you guys have to do that. So rhetorical modes, those are going to be basically the structure. It's the way you decide to present your argument or essay or whatever, your speech, whatever you're trying to do. And there's lots of different ways you can do that. It's going to be based on what your end goal is. So for example, exemplification is basically you just giving a bunch of examples of something. Argumentation, you guys have done that. Persuasion, comparison and contrast. So if you're just looking at the differences and similarities between two different things. Process analysis paper would just be like, this is how you do X. This is the process for doing that. So these are kind of your macro structures. You can use, if you look at the notes in there, it says you can use some of these as basically micro devices where you can use narration as part of your essay. So somebody telling a story within your essay. But for the most part, this is going to be the different ways you can structure essays, speeches, whatever. On the back is what you're more familiar with. These are your rhetorical devices. So the toolbox analogy is basically just, these are all different tools in the writer's toolbox that he can use to persuade or get his point across, whatever the goal is. These are all your different tools. All right, so we're going to be focusing on tone today. All right, so I got another sheet for you. I know it's a lot of sheets today. All right, I'm gonna have you break up into groups of 2. And each group is gonna take one of these columns. I'm just gonna let you pick. But I don't want I don't want 2 different groups doing the same column. And you guys are gonna go through. And first off, all I want you to do is just focus on the connotations. So does it have a positive connotation, a negative connotation? Is it kind of in between, or do you just flat out don't know? So you're probably going to have to look some of these words up. And then what we're going to do, if you see the around the room, bunch of butcher paper up, I'm going to write different categories. And then once you have your list, I'm going to have you put each of your words into one of the categories I'm going to put up around there. So that's going to help us kind of, with vocabulary, and it's also going to help us think about connotation, and basically it gives us a greater resource of, okay, when the author's speaking this way, this is the type of tone he's using. It's just a bunch of different examples that you can use in your own writing. All right, so which column? So the 4th one? All right, so they're doing M to R. You guys?
Let's do the second one.
Second, and what do you guys want to do? The 5th, okay. All right, so just go through. If you don't know the word, absolutely look it up. Try to understand whether it's positive or negative. And then if you're absolutely not sure, pop in that not sure column.